Budget constraint. So what do you mean by budget constraint? Basically, supposedly if you have a consumption bundle, there's a consumption bundle, let's say x1, x2, right? And the unit prices for x1, x2 are p1, p2. These are the prices at which you are consuming x1 and x2. So 1 unit of x1 cost p1 and 1 unit of x2 cost p2. And the income of the consumer is m. Income of the consumer is m. So what is the expenditure on x1? p1 x1. What is the expenditure on x2? p2 x2. Total expenditure on x1 is p1 x1. Total expenditure on x2 is p2 x2. So this is the total expenditure on x1 and x2. So this expenditure has to be less than or equal to m. So this is the budget constraint which you have. So this is the set of affordable bundles which you can have at prices p1, p2 and income m. So I'll be giving you examples also, but right now I'm just giving you the theory behind it, and then we'll just do the numerical. So please look at it. The set of, please write alongside, the set of affordable bundles at prices p1, p2 and income m is the budget set of the consumer. This is the budget set of the consumer. Right. So supposedly, let's take up one numerical. Supposedly your income is m is 50, right? And you can spend this income m on two goods x1 and x2, right? 1 unit of x1 and 1 unit of x2, they cost p1, p2. So let us call them as 10, 5, right? So your first part of the question is, write down the budget equation or budget line, right? So budget line is what? p1 x1 plus p2 x2. This should be equal to m, right? So budget line is the set of all consumption bundles that exactly cost m. In budget constraint, you have the set of all affordable bundles that may be less than m, right? But at budget line, all bundles, they are costing exactly equal to m. So you have p1 x1 plus p2 x2 equals to m. I'll also write one definition. Budget line is the set of all consumption bundles that cost exactly m, right? That cost exactly m. Now, how do you write this constraint? So it is p1 is 10, 10x1 plus 5x2 equals to m. M is 50 here, right? So you can also draw this if you want. I mean, so how to go about this? You can also draw this, which is right. So how to go about this problem? So you have 10x1 plus 5x2 equals to 50. So how to go about this? When x2 is 0, then x1 is 50 upon 10, which is equal to 5. So these are x1, x2, this is 5. And when x1 is 0, then 5x2 is equal to 50, x2 equals to 10, x2 equals to 10. So let us say something like this here. Clear? Something like this here, and you can join them by this thing. So this thing becomes the budget line which you have. This thing becomes the budget line. So when x2 is 0, x1 is 5. When x1 is 0, x2 is 10. And you join them by line segment. This becomes the budget line. Sorry. This becomes the budget line. So what do you have is so this thing is budget line, and all of these bundles, right, these bundles which you have here, all of these bundles which I'm marking as yellow here, all of these bundles which are not on the budget line but within the budget line, right? So these bundles, they are affordable, but they're not costing exactly M, they are less than M, right? So these bundles plus this budget line is the budget set. This is the budget set, right? Okay, this intercept, which is the horizontal intercept, this intercept, which is the horizontal intercept, this is the how much will you be buying if you are spending entire income on x1, right? So this is if you spend entire income on x1, right? Then this is the amount of x1 you can buy. This guy is vertical intercept, this is if you spend entire income on x2. This is the vertical intercept. One more thing, guys, you have the equation which is saying p1x1 plus p2x2 equals to m, right? So what does that mean? When, let me just write it like this, when x1 is 0, x2 is m by p2. When x2 is 0, x1 is m by p, right? This guy is the horizontal intercept, and this guy is the vertical intercept. Right? So in your example, this is m by p2, and this guy is m by p1. Right? This is m by p2 and this is m by p1. Right? Okay, now let's take our question a little further. We said that your income is 50, P1, P2 are these, write down the budget equation. Okay, let's write the another part of this question. So, part B, that is, I think what were the prices? 10.5 or what? 10.5, right? Now suppose P1 falls to 2, right? Then what is the budget constraint? Your question is this. Now suppose P1 falls to 2, what is the budget constraint? So think about it. You have P1, P2. Now you have P1, P2 is 2.5. Income is 10. So it is P1 x1 plus P2 x2 equals to 10. So it is 2x1 plus 5x2 equals to 10. Right? So although this is not asked, when x1 is 0, x2 is 5. When x2 is 0, x1 is, income is 10 or income is 50? Income is 50. That is, let's say there is no change in income. Right? Income is 50. Fine. Income is 50. So when x1 is 0, then x2 is 10. And when x2 is 0, x1 is 25. Right? So when x1 is 0, x2 is 10. When x2 is 0, x1 is 25. So in the same diagram, x1 is 0, x2 is 10. There is no change. When x2 is 0, x1 is 25. So you have this thing here. Now you can take this thing very far, somewhere till here, right? And you will have somewhat here. So there is no change in x2. There is no change in x2, but there is a change in x1 here. So basically this point is x1 as 25. Right? There is no change in the vertical intercept, but there is a change in the horizontal intercept now. Got it? Right. Let us change just a little bit, one more thing. Right. That is, now suppose now suppose income falls to 10, right? Everything else remaining same. What is the budget constraint? So P1, P2 P1, P2 is I think 10.5, which is the initial prices, and income is now 10, right? So it is P1 x1 plus p2x2 equals to m, 10x1 plus 5x2 equals to m, x1 x2. So when x1 is 0, x2 is 2. When x2 is 0, x1 is 1. This is a drastic fall in income. So when x1 is 0, x2 is 2. When x1 is 0, x2 is 2. Right? And when x2 is 0, x1 is 1. Something like this. So something like this, which is like this. So there is a parallel shift, inward shift in the, there's a parallel inward shift in this guy, your budget line, right? So what you can say, this is the way the budget line has shifted. This is the shift in budget line when prices change. So it pivot around this. So since there is no change in this vertical intercept, so it pivot around this vertical intercept, and this guy, this is now the shift in the budget line when income changes. This is the shift in the budget line when income changes. So there is, in this case, when income falls, there is an inward shift, right? And in case if income would have increased, it would have been an outward shift in the budget line. In that case, this would have been the outward shift in the budget line. Okay. Let us look at the another problem, which says what? So it says this. Supposedly, if prices are 1, and income is 10, right? You have to draw budget lines in these scenarios, just for a practice sake. And right. So if you draw budget lines in these cases, so let us draw these budget lines which you have. Okay. So first of all, I should be have this bigger version of the things like this. Okay. Okay, the first case, you have P1 is 1, P2 is 1, income is 10. So you have x2 here, you have x1 here. Okay. So the first case, P1 x1 plus P2 x2 equals to m. So this is 1 into x1 plus 1 into x2 equals to 10, right? So when x1 is 0, x2 is 10. Right, x1 is 0, x2 is 10. And when x2 is 0, x1 is also 10. Right. So let us say this is the first budget line which you have. This is the first case, right? Now, well, then you have the other case. Again, P1x1 plus P2x2 equals to M. 1x1 plus 2x2 equals to 30. So when x1 is 0, x2 is 15, right? When x2 is 0, x1 is 30, right? So when x1 is 0, x2 is 15. Let's say somewhere here. When x2 is 0, x1 is 30. Let's say somewhere here. Something like this. And you have, let's say, this kind of the budget line. This is the second budget line which you have. Well, then you have the third one. Third one says what? Again, P1x1 plus P2x2 equals to M. So it is P1 is 2, so it is 2x1 plus 0 into x2 equals to 10. So x1 equals to 5. That is the only thing, right? Somewhere here. So let us put the line color as something like this. So this is the third budget line which you have. This is the third budget line which you have. And the last case is, again, let us write P1x1 plus P2x2 equals to M. What is given to us? In place of P1, you guys can write 2P2, right? Okay, and then P2 is P2 only, and in place of M, you guys can write 20P1. So it is 2P2x1 plus P2x2, 20. In place of P1, again you can write 2P2. I'll write it properly again. 2P2x1 plus P2x2 equals to 40P2. Clear? So you guys can straight away divide. I mean, you can take P2 common from everywhere. This will be 2x1 plus x2 equals to 40, right? So when x1 is 0, x2 is 40. Sorry, x1 is 0, x2 is 40, and x2 is 0, x1 is 20. Right, so your thing is 2x1 plus x2 equals to 40. So let me just write it here also. 2x1 plus x2 equals to 40. So when x1 is 0, x2 is 40. Somewhere here. And when x2 is 0, x1 is 20. So you have something like this. Right, so you can use whichever color you want, like this. So these are the ways, you're drawing these budget lines. Clear? Let us do one more question. Okay, or I would want to give you one theory before I move on. So you have looked at the slope of the budget line. Okay, this is the slope of the budget line, right? So if you look at it, this is P1x1 plus P2x2 equals to M. Clear? So how do you find out the slope of the budget line? So I think I've told you already. That is, if you draw this budget line, let's say I draw this budget line, so it comes out to be like this. It comes out to be like this. And when x1 is x1, x2. x1 is 0, x2 is m by p2. When x2 is 0, x1 is m by p1. So when x1 is 0, x2 is m by p2. And when x2 is 0, x1 is m by p1. You join them by a line segment, and that becomes the budget line, right? So how do you find out the slope, basically? How do you find out the slope? So slope is this vertical intercept upon the horizontal intercept, the negative of the vertical intercept upon the horizontal intercept, right? So what is the vertical intercept which you have? M by p2. What is the horizontal intercept which you have? M by p1, right? So it is m by p2 into p1 by m. So this thing gives you minus p1 by p2. This thing gives you minus p1 by p2. So this is the slope of the budget constraint, or slope of the budget line. This guy is the slope of the budget line. So what is the slope measuring? The slope is measuring the rate at which the market is willing to substitute good 1 for good 2, right? The slope is measuring right? So the slope of the budget line, it measures the rate at which the market is willing to substitute good 1 for good 2, right? So supposedly she increases her consumption of x1 by delta x1, right? Supposedly she increases her consumption of x1 by delta x1. Then the question arises that how much of consumption, how much of good 2's consumption has to change to satisfy budget constraint, right? You have to be on the budget constraint. So if you think about it, so if you are sitting here, you have this much amount of x2 and this much amount of x1. So if you're increasing your consumption of x1, right, from this point to this point, then in order for you to be on the budget constraint or on the budget line, you have to decrease your consumption of x2, right? So this is the only question which is being asked here. So both of the cases, they have to satisfy the budget constraint. So budget, this is the initial budget line, P1x1 plus P2x2 equals to M. And after the change, your consumption of x1 is x1 plus delta x1, and consumption of x2 is x2 plus delta x2, which is equal to M, right? So I can subtract equation 1 from equation 2. I can subtract equation 1 from equation 2, and what I'll be getting is this guy, P1 delta x1 plus P2 delta x2 equals to 0. So delta x2 by delta x1 is minus P1 by P2. So what you are trying to tell is this minus P1 by P2 is nothing but the slope of the budget constraint. Right? This is just the slope of the budget constraint. And this negative sign is indicating what? This is indicating this negative sign. This is indicating that your delta x1 and delta x2, they should be of opposite sign. Delta x1 and delta x2, they should be of opposite sign. And one more thing which the slope, if you're increasing the consumption of x1, you're doing it at the cost of reducing the consumption of x2. So sometimes the slope of the budget constraint is also taken as measuring the opportunity cost of consuming good 1. So since you are consuming more of good 1, you're losing on good 2. So you can also say that slope of the budget constraint, it also measures the opportunity cost of consuming good 1, not measuring good 1, I'm so sorry. Opportunity cost of consuming good 1, right? Since you, in this example, you're consuming more of x1, and if you want to consume more of x2, you have to consume less of more of x1, you have to consume less of x2. So this is the opportunity cost of consuming good 1, right? Okay, I'll stop here. We will continue the discussion further. Thanks.